Get ready for a story of high-stakes global drama, centered on a colossal $550 billion deal. This is the largest trade agreement in history, at least that's what Donald Trump calls it. But now, with Japan's first female prime minister preparing to take power, this entire framework is suddenly on shaky ground. Will Tokyo honor the promises made, or will America's biggest trade play in Asia collapse before it even gets started? Let's rewind. Back in mid-2025, Donald Trump unveiled what he hailed as a landmark framework with Japan. The deal had two main parts: new tariff rules paired with a truly massive investment commitment from Japan. Almost immediately, Trump declared a huge victory, even taking to social media to spell it out. He claimed Japan would open its markets to American cars, trucks, and agricultural goods, while also pledging a staggering $550 billion to invest in the United States. The White House backed him up, emphasizing that tariffs on Japanese exports would be set at a baseline of 15%, a lower rate than some of the steeper threats that had been looming. But the political landscape in Tokyo has just been turned upside down. The new leader, Sana Takaichi, set to become prime minister in October 2025, is already raising serious doubts. She's pointed out that the commitments are politically volatile, calling them a taxpayer-backed outflow of capital. During her campaign, she was openly skeptical, stating that if something in the deal proves really unfair and hurts Japan's interests, her country must speak out firmly, leaving the door open to renegotiation. So, who is this new leader poised to challenge the terms of Trump's biggest deal? To understand that, we first need to look at the man she's replacing. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, the leader who actually signed the deal, was forced to step down after a short and tumultuous tenure. His premiership collapsed under political pressure, and many critics say his final act was less about leadership and more about capitulation to American demands. The agreement he signed forced Japan to accept a 15% baseline tariff on its exports. In return, the U.S. was promised that $550 billion in Japanese capital would be funneled into American projects, things like an LNG terminal in Alaska and U.S. shipbuilding. To many in Tokyo, this didn't look like a negotiation, it looked like a surrender. Ishiba's resignation cemented his image as a leader who is cornered at home and overpowered abroad. Now all eyes are on Sana Takaichi. Her rise is historic, making her Japan's first female prime minister, but she is a seasoned conservative politician with deep roots in the ruling party. Her political identity is closely tied to the late influential Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Like him, she favors a more assertive military role for Japan and has hawkish views on national security. She's expected to seek an early summit with Donald Trump, emphasizing an alliance-first approach. However, she is walking a tightrope. While she wants to maintain strong ties with Washington, she also has to answer to Japanese businesses that are deeply skeptical of the $550 billion pledge, unsure where that enormous sum would even be invested. The deal, as it stands, gives a new U.S. government office the power to direct these Japanese funds, with Japan having little say in the process. Refusal to participate could trigger those tariffs snapping back into place. This high-pressure strategy is already being tested elsewhere. South Korea, also pressured by Washington, reluctantly agreed to a similar but smaller bargain. Taiwan, however, has flatly rejected a U.S. proposal to move half of its semiconductor manufacturing to America. The stakes could not be high.